Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game Time YouTube channel. My name is Joe, and I am your host. K-State football post-game chat from our last game versus Oklahoma State. Result was a loss in Stillwater by the score of 29-21. K-State looked very, very bad in this game. All right, let's just throw that out there. Let's get this party started. K-State looked bad. All right. Keep in mind, this is the same Oklahoma State team that just lost to Alabama State by the score of 33-7 in Stillwater. Okay, they were on a 2-game losing streak, just losing to Iowa State a couple of weeks back for their first Big 12 game of the year. And here we go, okay, into Stillwater. And we lose to this team, okay? K-State was favored to win this game by double digits. And to be honest, even though the game seemed close at the end and K-State definitely had a chance to win at the end of the game, K-State never led in this game. K-State was behind the entire game. Oklahoma State scored on its first drive, okay, of this game. And K-State was a 3-and-out, all right, on the first drive of the game. K-State just got manhandled in this game. It was kind of strange to see. I don't think I've seen K-State play this bad in a while. This was one of the worst games that I've seen within the last couple of years. I don't think I've seen K-State play this bad. K-State beat themselves. K-State beat themselves at nearly every turn, at nearly every opportunity that we had to somewhat make a run and potentially tie the game or take the lead. We beat ourselves. Even after playing bad, though, what's interesting is that K-State still had an opportunity to win this game in the final minutes. But of course, you know, just like every other opportunity in this game, K-State was unable to execute. All right, was unable to execute at the end of the game. All right, there was a 4th down play, a minute or so left, and ball got batted down. Will Howard pass, and K-State again came up short. Some key injuries here today. Left side corner Jacob Parrish was out this game. Sounds like he had a midweek injury in practice, so he was unable to go. K-State's banged up right now. Unfortunately, K-State has started the season banged up. And I think we're seeing the result of that in some of these first couple of games. I think after Missouri, that really put a hurt on K-State physically. I think since that game, physically, I think K-State has been somewhat banged up. Let's talk about the offense a little bit. Okay, Will Howard has a terrible offensive game. Okay, he goes 15 of 34, only 152 yards passing. All right, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions, less than 50%. All right, completion rate. Many passes were overthrown, okay, to the receivers. So he was off the mark quite a bit. And, it's clear to see that because it's 3 interceptions. So I don't know if it's the receivers, because I don't think our receivers are playing very well right now. It seems that they're having trouble getting open. I think you saw that in the last few games. Okay, they're having trouble getting open against what I would call better competition. Outside of the first 2 games where the competition was not Power 5 conference level. Now that K-State's playing, Power 5 level competition defensively, the receivers are having some trouble getting open, I think. They're not even getting thrown passes. Your RJ Garcias, who had a really big game against SEMO, he's only getting targeted like 1 or 2 times a game these last couple of games. So he's having trouble getting open. Will Howard was our leading rusher in this game, 10 carries for 104 yards. Most of that came in a 70-yard run in the first quarter where he nearly scored a touchdown. K-State's becoming somewhat one-dimensional. We're almost becoming too run-heavy at this point. If you look at the game against UCF, okay, Giddens has over 200 yards. Okay, in this game, I think we saw a lot more running game. I'm not sure if possibly Will Howard's hurt, if there's some type of injury that he's playing through. I know he was somewhat banged up after the Missouri game, okay, and prior to that UCF game, I know he was somewhat banged up, but he was still able to go. But you notice even in that game, a lot of the running game came out. All right, we gave UCF a huge dose of DJ Giddens, and in this game, you saw K-State attempt to do that in the running game. A lot more run heavy in these last couple games. And I wonder if it's due to some injury to Will Howard that we're just not aware of and that he's playing through. Are the receivers hurt? I know we know that Keegan Johnson was hurt, to start the season. He's getting more play in these last few games. I think he got like 3 or 4 passes in this game for maybe 40 or so yards. But none of those guys are game changers right now. Look at R.J. Garcia. He only got 1 pass this game. Jaden Jackson, I don't think he got one. Ben Sinnott did well. Okay, he got one of the touchdowns. We're not looking good right now in as far as our receivers go. I'm wondering if, again, some of them are hurt. Okay, they're either banged up, or they're just simply not able to get open. They're not running their routes well. They're not being physical enough off the line of scrimmage. They're getting banged up in the secondary. I think the recent teams that we've been playing have been able to really out-physical our receivers. Our receivers aren't that big. R.J. Garcia is not a big guy. Okay, Keegan Johnson is probably our bigger receiver. He's less than 200 pounds. He's like in the 190s. Okay, so we don't really have a big receiver outside of a Ben Sinnott, who's he's more of a tight end type of body type. Okay, so we don't have 200 plus pound over 6'2", 6'3", big receivers that can go up and get passes and get physical with corners and safeties. We don't really have that. So with our receiving core, I think it's really important that we scheme well in order to get our receivers open and allow them to use their speed and athleticism to create space. And that's on coaching. Okay, it's possible that the coaches aren't scheming well enough to the benefit of our receivers and the strengths of our receivers, because you can see in these last couple games, I mean, our receivers aren't really changing the game here. They're not impacting the game like I think we would like to see them do. Especially, we've got a really, I think Will Howard's still a good passing quarterback, but I think he's capable of hitting guys and spreading the ball around to several receivers and breaking games open with that type of play. But we're just not seeing that last couple games. So offensively, a couple of really terrible plays that really set the tone for the offense, respectively. Okay. The pick 6 in the second quarter. All right. Puts Oklahoma State up 20-7. It looks like there was some miscommunication between Phillip Brooks and Will Howard. Looks like Will Howard maybe was expecting an out route by Phillip Brooks. Phillip Brooks turned it upfield. Pick 6. Okay. That's a game changer. Okay. Another bad play. In the third quarter, there was a 4th and 8. Okay. 4th and 8. K-State's knocking on the door at this point. Had put a good drive together. Okay. Ben Sinnott had caught a 29-yard pass. Okay. They were sitting on the 13-yard line of Oklahoma State. And on 4th and 8, some miscommunication between the center and Will Howard. Center snaps the ball. Will Howard's not ready. Snaps it past Will Howard. Loses like 20 yards. Will Howard has to jump on the fumble and, turn over on downs right there on the spot. If we're going to go for it, at least run a freaking play. Okay. You might question play calling there. Okay. I think we could have kicked a field goal there. I think we were down a touchdown. I can't remember what the score was. But I think, we were down like 7 points, maybe 10 points. We could have went ahead and kicked a field goal to get some points. But keep in mind, I mean, watching the press conference, Coach Kleiman was was asked about this particular play, he mentioned that, hey, we've only got so many possessions in a game. Okay, with these new rules where the play clock continues to run after a first down up until the 2-minute mark, the game goes by very fast. We're thinking, all right, third quarter, we're not going to have very many more possessions. We've got to get a touchdown here. And, so we go for it on fourth. We had very good field position. All right. We were basically in the red zone, and bad snap, 4th and 8, turnover on downs. Okay. That's a killer. That's a game killer. Okay. You just can't do that. All right. And win a game. You just can't do it and win a game. Okay. We don't really have any deep threat receivers. If you look at Will Howard last year, I mean, he spread that ball around like he was hitting guys. It was art, to see, to see him throw the ball around. Right now, it seems like Phillip Brooks is really the guy that Will Howard seems to go for on deep routes. I'm not sure I understand that. Okay. Phillip Brooks, he's more of a slot receiver, it appears, right? He seems like one of those guys that you want to get him a short pass in space and allow him to make a move after the catch. Deep threats, I think you want taller, bigger guys. Not that Phillip Brooks can't create space, because he can. He's shorter than 6 foot. A corner is going to be able to use some height in order to jump and make a move on the ball, especially those deep balls that are going to be high up. I'd like to see some of our other receivers, like an RJ Garcia and a Keegan Johnson, step up as deep threats. I think Phillip Brooks, he's better fit as a slot receiver. Okay. He's running cross routes. Maybe he's running, some quick out routes, some slants. He's even maybe catching some reverses, grabbing some handoffs and things like that. It almost seems like a testament to, some of the other receivers not being able to get open. That's a different issue. And that's something that I think we'll need to work on offensively. So let's talk a little bit about the defense here. The defense was unable to really stop the run in this game. In previous games, K-State had been very good against the run. And in this game, they were not. They just simply were not. All right. The running back for Oklahoma State, Ali, all right, he goes for 21 carries, 136 yards. He had some big runs, too. OK, one run, 33 yards, another run, 36. Our defensive front appeared to get dominated quite a bit. Alan Bowman, the Oklahoma State quarterback, had so much time to distribute the ball. OK, and they were able to open some huge lanes for their running back, Ali. And he was able to get there. He's a physical guy, a little over 200 pounds. And, our D-backs couldn't do anything with him. OK, I saw a couple of cases where our D-back just got wiped out by a stiff arm. Just no chance. OK, allowing Ollie to pick up more yardage. We just were not physical enough to stop the run in this game. One thing I did notice is there was a lot of misdirection by Oklahoma State that it seemed like K-State just wasn't ready for. OK, their run pass option. They did a lot of motion where they would, bring a receiver, a slot receiver, and run like a circle around the quarterback. And, their fakes worked. Okay. They froze K-State when they faked the run. Then when they went to throw the ball, they had so much time to throw the ball because I think K-State was thinking there was going to be a run. That's the benefit of your running game working. Okay. So that's a part of it as well. One positive thing I can say about the defense, though, is that, even though there were several big plays in the running game, Oklahoma State only scored one touchdown offensively. Okay, so really K-State played a bend but not break type of defense in this game because Oklahoma State ended up needing to kick 5 field goals to win this game. And then the pick six kind of rounded it out for them. But otherwise, they only got one offensive touchdown in this game. Okay, K-State also blocked a field goal attempt in the second quarter. Okay, so there were some bright spots that allowed K-State to even stay in this game. Okay, the fact that K-State was in this game at the end of the game, only lost by 8 points, is pretty significant considering how bad K-State played. Okay, especially offensively, K-State really played bad offensively. It was very disappointing to see. So let's take a look at the big picture here. Okay, big picture, this was an upset. Okay, let's keep it real. This was an upset. K-State was favored to win this game by double digits and lost. Okay, so this was an upset. K-State's dealing with a lot of injuries right now. To start this season, I guess you just never really know until guys are actually out of games. But K-State has definitely caught the injury bug and are dealing with a lot of injuries to start this season. Hopefully that changes through the course of the year. All teams have this problem. Okay, let's keep it real. K-State is not the only team that has injuries. Football is a very physical game. Some guys get hurt in practice, right? Jacob Parrish gets hurt in practice this week and is unable to play. So things happen. This happens. I think K-State is going through injuries right now, and hopefully we can get that cleaned up, or at least get the guys that are stepping into those positions more ready to play and more prepared to play in coming weeks. Keep in mind it's early, okay? This is only one conference loss. This is the second conference game, okay? K-State sitting at 1-1 in conference play, 3-2 overall, okay? Still in the hunt for the conference championship, okay? Still in the hunt. You never really know how these games are going to play out. Okay, we don't know how good any team can go on a run at any point. Okay, Texas and Oklahoma are up there, top tier, on paper. Okay, but either of them can get beat by any other team in the Big 12. Okay, and we're very likely going to have at least one loss team in the Big 12 championship game. Okay, so I think we will see that. And so, we just got to tie up our boots and go to work. I think, again, this was a bad game. There are definitely red flags, okay, that you can see with this team. K-State is not a very good team right now. I think we see that. They did not really appear to be ready to play this game. It was very disappointing to see that. But I think K-State needs to get better. I think K-State will get better. And, we're going to see next week how K-State responds to this upset loss. The big question I think we're looking at, especially on offense, is quarterback play. OK, folks are calling for Avery Johnson to start and play QB, or at least play more snaps. Here's my opinion on this. All right. I think Will Howard, given his performance last year and how he came to play, and he came up big last year, winning a Big 12 conference championship. I think he deserves at least one bad game. Okay. I think he is a better quarterback than what we saw. Okay. In this game. And, hey, folks have bad days. Folks have bad games. It happens. Okay. So you can't look at this one game and determine that Will Howard should not be the starting quarterback. Okay. So in my opinion, only if Will Howard looks really bad to start the next game, all right, which is against Texas Tech, okay, next week. If he looks really, really bad in the first half, and it looks like, he's lost some level of confidence in himself, or, he maybe whatever injury bug he's fighting is getting the best of him, then I think we go with Avery Johnson. Okay. But, from his performance last year, like I said, I think he deserves at least this one bad game. Okay. And I think we'll be pleasantly surprised at, how he'll respond, I think. Okay. Avery Johnson, is he ready? Question mark. We don't know. We know he's an athletic guy. We know he's an athletic runner. Okay. We've seen him do that in a couple of games this year. We haven't really seen him throw the ball. We haven't really seen him manage the offense consistently through the course of several series, maybe even a quarter, or a half of football. We have not seen that. And so I think we don't know if he's ready yet. It takes a lot of practice. And clearly with Will Howard being the number one, Avery Johnson's not really getting the first team reps that a quarterback, I think, requires to do well in a full game. Okay, not just a couple of series. So to get Avery ready, he's going to need a couple of weeks as the number one guy to really practice and get the plays down, get that muscle memory down. Okay, with the play calling, and understand the personnel he's got out there and what he needs to do and what he can do with the plays that are being called. I don't know if that's really been done for him yet. And so, is he ready physically? Probably. I really would like to see him throw the ball a little bit more. We have not seen much of a sample size of that. I know he's capable, but, you don't really want to put him in a position to do bad. Okay. You want to put him in a position to be successful, and to throw him in, under the bus and play too early. It doesn't do him. It does him a disservice. It doesn't bode well for him. He can also get injured in the process of doing that. So I think folks need to be real careful when they're calling for this guy and understand that, he does need a little bit more practice. I'll put it like that, and preparation. Probably more so than anything. He likely has the skills to do it, but I think with each game coming so quickly, it can be very difficult to prepare for a team in a short amount of time, especially him being new to the offense and needing to learn a lot of the offense, outside of just what game. Again, I think if Will Howard looks really, really bad against Texas Tech, I think we need to give Avery Johnson a shot. But if he looks relatively well and decent against Texas Tech and he's able to move the ball, I think we stick with Will Howard. All right. So what do we got next game? Okay, next game we got Texas Tech coming up this coming Saturday. Okay. Hopefully K-State can get back into the win column. Texas Tech is looking, middle of the pack type of team this year. They're 3-3 overall, 2-1 in the conference. They've beaten Houston and Baylor so far this year, and we're going into Lubbock and playing Texas Tech this Saturday. So I think the keys for K-State is to really prepare. I think K-State needs to figure out how to get the passing game back on track. I think the receivers really need to figure out how they're going to get open. I think Will Howard needs to, he needs to kind of figure out, I think, so what do you do, right? If no receivers are open, what do? Do you take the sack? Probably, okay, or you throw it away, okay? Will Howard, I think he's just trying to find an open guy, and he's making mistakes. So, that's a tough one. I think Will Howard just kind of needs to settle in. I think the offense needs to, or the coaches, I think, need to figure out, better release valves for Will Howard. Okay, if none of the receivers are open, who are you going to hit? Okay, he tried to hit DJ Giddens a couple times this past game, and DJ, I don't know. I think he's a decent receiver. But it really didn't look like that, the plays were really, really set up to get DJ the ball. Really going to need some better short routes from, Sennett, maybe, shorten up his routes, get him open, 5 yards out from the line of scrimmage. So Will Howard can dump those passes off when some of those other receivers aren't open. And honestly, I mean, if nobody's open, you're going to have to run the ball, Will Howard, or just take that sack. You really don't want to throw those interceptions. This is a case where an Avery Johnson would really come in handy. He's a very athletic runner, and if guys aren't getting open, you're going to have to run that ball. That quarterback run opens up the passing game significantly. If you're able to execute that quarterback run consistently, the running game in general does. But if you're able to if your running backs aren't breaking, aren't getting good yardage, you're having trouble running the ball. That quarterback run is, an alternative to open up that running game, which then in turn, brings up safeties, brings those linebackers up to the line of scrimmage to stop that run. Boom. Okay. You got open pass lanes. You're opening up your offense to the passing game, and you're allowing your receivers to get open. So, let's see how that plays out. But again, we got Texas Tech this week. We're going away to Lubbock. Let's see how things go. Hopefully K-State can get back in the win column, but we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.